The Spanish website El Diario de Mallorca reported on a significant development concerning a Sahrawi origin woman. The Spanish National Court confirmed the charges against her as a prelude to her trial. She is accused of sending messages supporting jihad from her home on the island of Menorca. The report states that the arrest and trial involve an activist identified as a separatist loyal to the Polisario Front. She was arrested in the Balearic Islands, specifically on Menorca, and faces charges of incitement and glorification of terrorist acts targeting Moroccan interests. The investigation revealed that she used social networks to send calls for jihad against Morocco. Additionally, she allegedly attempted to acquire materials for making explosive belts and maintained ties with terrorist activists. One of her brothers reportedly participated in a previous attack on the Moroccan Sahara. This development highlights escalating militant activities by the Polisario Front. Since January 2020, when its official media announced a return to armed conflict, the group has intensified its use of terrorism. This shift followed the US recognition of Morocco's sovereignty over the Sahara. Morocco, on the other hand, has reiterated its commitment to the 1991 UN-brokered ceasefire agreements. The kingdom emphasizes dialogue and negotiations as the sole path to resolving the conflict, adhering to a policy of non-escalation despite provocations. When discussing the Polisario, it is essential to consider Algeria's role. Algeria funds, trains, and harbors the Polisario, acting as its principal sponsor. Algerian diplomacy is heavily focused on defending the Polisario and challenging Morocco's sovereignty. This support raises serious concerns about Algeria's involvement in facilitating the Polisario's operations, including its adoption of terrorism. Supporting terrorism as a political tool is destabilizing for the region. Many Polisario members have been linked to terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda and ISIS in the Greater Sahara. Additionally, the group's leadership has been implicated in human trafficking and the establishment of terrorist networks in the Sahel and sub-Saharan regions. Equating the Polisario with terrorist organizations is supported by substantial evidence. Algeria's involvement is evident in enabling terrorist activities along its borders with Niger, Mali, and Morocco. One prominent example is the Polisario's attack during Green March celebrations in Mahbes, where missiles reportedly supplied by Hezbollah were used. Such actions demonstrate the group's increasing reliance on terrorism, facilitated with Algerian support. From a legal perspective, attacks originating from Algerian-controlled territory implicate Algeria in these actions. Despite Algeria's denials, the Polisario operates openly from Tindouf, a region under Algerian administration. International law views terrorist acts launched from such areas as violations of sovereignty and regional stability. Algeria's refusal to acknowledge its role raises significant concerns about its intentions. This is not the first time the Polisario has been implicated in serious crimes. Spanish authorities previously issued an arrest warrant for the Polisario leader on charges of rape and crimes against humanity, but those efforts were obstructed. The Polisario's continued presence on Algerian soil, coupled with its terrorist activities, poses a growing threat not only to Morocco, but also to the broader Sahel region and Europe. Algerian-trained operatives carrying out attacks across borders underscore the global implications of this issue. Moroccan security services continue to call on the international community to recognize the threat posed by the Polisario and to hold Algeria accountable for its role. The question arises, can Algeria be considered a state sponsor of terrorism? Based on the evidence, The answer appears affirmative. Declaring the Polisario a terrorist organization would directly implicate Algeria as a state sponsor of terrorism. Such a designation would reflect the reality of the situation and highlight the urgent need for international action to ensure regional and global stability. Simple reasoning and factual evidence lead to this inevitable conclusion.